when I sent it in, they gave me a new one. I didn't even ask for it. But I think that's more to do with the guy I knew rather than
I've never had that.
being that national. Do you know what I mean?
No, you're probably going to get in the sack now.
Yeah, I can't say his name. Cheers, Dave.
So the first segment is flue gas analysers, because we have 3 heating engineers on the show. And the reason we chose that as the first tool is because we put a poll inside the Expert Trades Facebook group. If you are a trades professional, head over to Facebook, search Expert Trades and join the group. So I guess passing straight across to yourself, you brought an analyzer with you.
I brought an analyzer with me.
Let's have a look at your tool. That's a weird statement, but let's carry on.
Well, so this is the Kane 458. I did a lot of research when I first went self-employed into what flue gas analyzer I was going to have. I ended up with this one. So main reason I got for this one was they had a service contract. So every year it goes back, I think it's £85. It comes back calibrated, serviced. It's a fixed fee, includes postage. And it has an electrical cell rather than a chemical cell. So when using it, if something goes wrong, you can't actually damage the chemicals inside. So that was one of the main things that really stood out to me.
Okay.
And
For someone that doesn't know analyzers, what does that actually mean?
So when you're testing a gas appliance,
Yep.
be it oil, be it commercial, be it whatever it is that you're doing, you put your probe in, because on a lot of the newer boilers, you can't see the burning flame. So the way you test a burning flame is to see what actually it burns. So if it's burning incorrectly, it will show you the wrong PPI or wrong ratio. So you know, obviously as a trade professional, what the numbers mean and why they mean them. And then from there you can calculate what's a good burn, a bad burn. And obviously if you go to a boiler you've never been to before, if it's got a broken seal or a broken flue, you'll find the bad fluids that come through. And obviously they do have filters inside, which we'll get out and show, which obviously are changeable.
Yep.
And that just obviously protects it a little bit more than what's inside. But my old boss had one of a different make, and that had a chemical cell. And
What make did he have?
He had an Anton.
Okay.
And that had a chemical cell rather than a digital cell. And that was forever having new cells putting it on every service.
Okay.
So his service cost became quite expensive.
Okay, super interesting. I see a lot of head nods over there, which is interesting.
So just simply because of that, that's why I looked into it. I didn't know there was more than one different cell. I just assumed Anton was one of the best makes at the time. We're talking 10 years ago now.
Showing your age here.
Yeah, tell me about it. I feel it. And that was just, so when I went on my own, when you're going to spend £1,000 on a brand new kit, with everything included in it, you want to get the best one that's going to do you right, never fail, and if it does fail, you get it back quick on a right price.
So would you be recommending that to someone?
100%.
Perfect.
100%.
Let's pause it there. Lee, over to you. What analyzer have you bought with you?
I've also got a Kane. Mine is the previous model to one that Dave's got. Main reason for me is they've got a HQ in the town that I live. So when it comes to calibration and stuff like that, I give it in the morning. I normally get it back by lunchtime.
Okay.
Some people in certain areas have to send it off, get a loan analyzer, things like that, if there's ever a problem. I've had this one, I think 7 years. No, that's probably a bit optimistic. Probably about 5 years. Never a single issue with it. Comes in, and another advantage for me personally, I actually know someone who works at Kane in Welling Garden, who's like, I've known him since I was a boy. Do you know what I mean? He used to drink me nan's booze, we're going off on one. But he, for me, I get good support. Do you know what I mean? I know if I need it, I can get it in there straight away and get it back exactly the same day. And in that way, I also get a good price on my calibration, I'm not going to lie. But it's not a deciding factor of why I bought it. I didn't actually know Kane had a base where I lived until I went to my first calibration. I bought it because I was actually sort of raised and trained on this analyzer anyway, so I was used to using it. Tried an Anton for one that I had when I worked for a company. Didn't really like it, didn't like the setup, didn't like the screen. Screen's a bit smaller. This, for me, is easy function, twist and turn, and it does everything really that I need. Another good point, it's got quite high tolerance, going back to the different cells. If you put your probe in too early into the flue, the readings can be quite high and go off the scale, and it can be quite damaging to other analysers, where these are a bit more tolerant. They've got quite a high tolerance when they're higher readings.
Okay, nice. Dave, over to you. What have you bought with you?
Went for something different. No, I didn't. So I've got the 458, same as Dave, and exactly the same reasons. Was when I worked for a national firm, we were using Anton, and it was the earlier ones, but they were all forever being sent back before calibration. Always going back to have cells replaced. If you did put it into a bad ratio, high readings, you'd literally be standing outside for 10, 15 minutes waiting for it to come back down.
Yeah.
And it might not come back because it will damage the cells. So I went on reviews really, but I have got the 455 as well. And I needed another one. So this is the newer one, better one. And but I love it. I use it for tightness testing, reading pressures.
Yep.
And like you said, the selector on it's brilliant. The battery life on it's really good as well.
Yeah, it is.
I can't remember the last time I charged it. It just comes on every time.
So normally at this point in the show, we'd like open it up to get a bit of debate about which tool's best. But you've all bought canes. I guess one thing for me, obviously not a trades professional, not an installer, is what is the actual difference between the 458 and the 455? Like, why would you upgrade?
Well, I'm the same. I actually used to have that one.
Okay.
And there was just a deal on in my local Graham's that this one, if you traded that one in, you got this one at an excellent deal.
But do they do the same thing? What do they do
I
differently?
think your one's got one or two more extra features.
There's a few extra things on here. So the difference is, you maybe won't be able to see it on the camera, but there's some little lights just down here. So instead of having, I think it's
A backlit
4.
screen,
No, you've got 4.
Oh, these here you mean?
So he has 4 lines. This one has 6 lines. So you actually get 2 extra lines of information on the same screen.
Okay.
That was one of the things. The other thing it has an AUX button. So again, one of these ones over here. That's something you can actually change to what you want. So, all jokes aside, obviously me doing oil, I have different readings for me certificate.
People are wondering
pads.
why is that a joke that you do oil?
True. Yeah. We'll get back to oil later, I'm sure. I can actually have that set to different readings than what I would have on my normal ratio setting, and it helps me to distinguish when I'm doing a gas boiler.
Yep.
I have the reading set at one thing when I'm doing that because I'm looking for different efficiencies and different things and excess airs that you don't need as much when you're doing your gas for readings reasons when you're actually writing it on a pad. It just means that I can add what I want in there and flick between the two dead easy to create the off-tech pad, so I can add everything in it there and then, rather than having to print things out and then go through it and read it. It's there ready for me.
So because all three of you have an experience with this product, part of this show for me is one about what's good, but what's bad, or let me change the word bad. What could Kane improve on this, in your opinions?
To be honest, I'm going to add another good point. Just because I want to.
You've got a commission check coming on.
I don't think that's what he's asked.
I'm going to add
You
another
can only
good
the
point.
pound signs, like you know the pound noise in the background, the till register.
So when the 459 comes out, I'd really like one. So if you want to send me one, we're in. No, I want to add another good point, actually, before we get into bad points. And I mean this in a good way, because Lee said about living in the area where there is one. Obviously, I don't.
Yep. People notice with the accent, don't worry.
Of course.
So I've got one in Manchester.
Yeah, they do have one. So this is where it goes. It goes to the one in Manchester. But obviously, I don't take it there. I don't live in Manchester. Not too long ago, it was about 3 weeks before its service, it failed on me, which is the first time it's ever happened on any one of them, and it's just one of those things. I sent it on the Monday at dinner time, and it got back to me before dinner time on the Wednesday.
Wow, okay.
So the turnaround, even though I don't live close and I was sending it, the turnaround was absolutely unbelievable.
So I guess that just keeps you, not to use the phrase, but on the tools in terms of you're not missing
100%.
service jobs.
Yeah. I had to cancel a few services because obviously it failed. It's just one of those things. It's the same as if the van had failed.
Yeah.
Things fail, it happens. But the fact they got it to me again on Wednesday meant that I could catch up by the end of the week. So I could literally rebook everybody in by the end of the week.
I've heard about service from Dave and Lee. Dave, have you ever had an issue with service, or how do you find the service from Kane?
I don't send it back to Kane. So there's a company in my town called J&W, and literally I could walk there from my house. So and they're brilliant. So that's where I buy them from. That's where they go back for calibration, repair, anything like that. And they're really quick. It's the same. It's next day.
It's all about service, isn't it?
Yeah, they understand. They're understanding that you need that. That's a vital bit of kit.
Yeah.
And you can't work without it. So I think they're understanding.
100%.
So what needs improving, guys? When Kane watches this video, so I think what's super important is Kane's going to be watching this video. They're probably going to be sharing it across the company, and they want some feedback.
If this, I've obviously got the older model. The only thing for me, the light on it's not great. You can put a backlight on. It's not the brightest in the world.
Doesn't stay on.
Doesn't stay on very. I was just going to say that.
Is that fixed in a newer model?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No,
If you're
it
saying the
doesn't
same
No, it
thing.
doesn't stay on very long, but it is bright enough so you can see what the readings are if you're in a bit of an awkward spot.
Okay.
I think the only thing really I could say that would improve it is if it turned on quicker. Because I think it takes, is it 90 seconds
Yeah,
from when
but
you
I think
press it
there's a
on?
reason for
is
it.
that the air-
isn't it?
is that
I've
the
got
air
to
purge?
initialise.
That purge
Yeah,
fresh
yeah,
air
that's right.
purge,
Yeah,
yeah.
so as it's initialising what the air you are in, so obviously clean air.
Gets it out.
Yeah, and then you can do a base reading from your exact area. So
Okay.
there's no point calibrate it in London and then using it in Newcastle because you might have slightly different, so your readings, you might
Okay.
have slightly
Does that
different.
calibrate every single time it turns
Every
on?
time you
Yeah,
turn it on.
fresh air
Purge the air
purge,
every
and
time.
then
So-
30 seconds when you turn it
I
off.
was going to say, I think it's only 90 seconds though, isn't it?
It is, only 90
Yeah, 90
seconds.
seconds
yeah,
on,
yeah.
30 seconds
It's-
off.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not long, it's not something that really bothers me, but I suppose that is literally, if I'm nitpicking, that's the
Yeah.
only thing I could say, is if I could turn it on and it just be on,
Yeah.
then that would be better, but it doesn't really
Feels
bother
like
me.
technically that might not be possible
Oh,
because
no.
it's got to clean the
Yeah,
air.
exactly.
if you're
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
a grand scale of things, the shortest job you're going to use this for is a service,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is
Half
what,
an hour
half hour to
minimum.
an hour
Yeah.
in it as a minimum.
As a
So
minimum.
90 seconds in context, it's not a lot. It's
No.
not a lot of time. I turn it on, leave it outside, do something else, put it into high rate if you've got to. By the time you've gone back out, got your analyzer, bring it back in,
Yeah.
the boiler's ready and up to temperature anyway
Yeah.
because you're meant to let it stabilise. So,
Okay.
I just try and tighten with something else. It's not, but I agree, when you set at 90 seconds, it feels like an
it
eternity
does.
sometimes, but it's really not.
The only other thing I think with the kit, maybe a bit lighter.
Yeah, that'd be
because
nice, I
you're
suppose.
obviously
Yeah, yeah.
carrying around quite a bit of weight all the time.
Like in your
And-
service
and in your
bag. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And
Because it does go in on, to be fair, that's true. It goes in on every job. Or literally every job. It's
I find
always
the
when
bag
you're in
as
it.
well, to be fair. The bag,
Yeah.
every bag I've had, the straps broke.
Yeah,
and
they're
it's
all-
a simple
yeah.
fix
Or they
again.
rip.
But to be fair, to spin it, when I sent it in, they gave me a new one. I didn't even ask for it. But I think that's more to do with the guy I knew rather than
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never had that.
being that national. Do you know what I mean?
No, fair enough.
You're probably going to get in the sack now.
Yeah, I can't say his name. Cheers, Dave.
All right, so guys, this feels like you guys would all put, if an engineer is watching this right now, potentially coming into the industry, you'd all highly recommend
100%.
the K.
100%.
Thanks for watching this segment of Tool Talk TV. Now don't forget, hit subscribe, and if you never want to miss an episode, there's a bell just above me if you're watching this on YouTube. Press that, and you'll get a notification every time we launch a new show.